Yeah, my stream button didn't work right off the bat. But we're talking to Trevor Releford right here, Alabama point guard from 2010 to 2014, number one player in Alabama history in steals, fifth all time in the SEC in steals. So look, the start of the season has gone really well for Alabama basketball. Obviously, playing again on Friday against Ohio State. I think it's 7 o'clock on CBS Sports Network, and then we'll be playing again on Saturday against either Oregon or Santa Clara. So it's going to be a fun weekend for Alabama basketball. Kind of draped around the Iron Bowl situation. Let's talk about it. Let's spin it back to 2010, 2009 or so. Trevor, when you came to Alabama, you were a highly sought after prospect. You were a number one player in the state of Missouri, Kansas City prospect, and your older brother had gone to Kansas, and everybody knows like Kansas blue blood basketball program. What went into Trevor Releford deciding, you know what, I'm going to pick up and leave Kansas City, and I'm going to Tuscaloosa, Alabama to play basketball?
Yeah, I mean, I think like I tell everybody, I mean, I stepped foot on campus and I think I committed within, 30, 45 minutes. So, I mean, it always felt like home and it still does. And I mean, I'm glad I chose to come here. My family, they didn't get to come to many games, but I mean, they're Bama fans from afar. And I mean, the school's been good to me.
Was it difficult to choose? I mean, you said 30, 40 minutes. Was it difficult to say, okay, I'm leaving? Because obviously, Canada, many basketball schools, many big time schools that would consider themselves basketball schools were coming after you. Was it difficult to say, you know what, I'm going to carve my own path? And I know Alabama hasn't quite been what they used to be, but this was home for me.
Yeah, well, I think when I came here, I kind of had that chip that I mean, you could say those guys have now, and then you can say Alabama wasn't a basketball school then. And I mean, we were working every day to get it back to where it was. I mean, we had a bunch of high level players and some big names in the NBA that came through here before us. So I still think now like where the program is at is kind of what we all wanted to achieve and kind of do things. Number one overall seed like some of those things to see the growth of the program. I mean, that's the reason why I came to this school and I'm glad to see that it's there now.
Well, I wonder how much responsibility do you feel for the current? Obviously, Anthony Grant was two coaches ago, and you had Avery Johnson as well, and now at Nate Oates. But I'll just tell you from an outside perspective, from somebody who's a student here from 2010, 2008 to. Well, it took me 10 years to do a 4-year degree. So, but no, when I started here in 2008, I thought, man, Trevor, this guy's going to be awesome. And Jermichael Green, this program's going to be great. And now where we're at the moment, it's like, oh, this is like everything that everybody who envisioned when you brought in a Trevor Releford, when you brought in a Jermichael Green. How much responsibility do you feel for the current state of the program?
I mean, I think when you just look at me as a player, you kind of see a guy that like some of the things that the coach Oates kind of harps on now that just playing blue collar basketball and just giving it your all. That's kind of what I wish people remember me for. And I mean, I would say it's a bunch of good point guard history in this program. So I like to say I had a little bit to do with that, but I mean, where those guys have taken it, I mean, that's what you call that's growth. So Kyra, you had Colin, Kyra. I mean, it's a guy going every year now in the point guard position. So I mean, I'm excited for those guys, and they were able to take it to a next step. So I'm excited for the program.
What was it like playing for Anthony Grant? Anthony Grant, a lot of people, at least from my standpoint, when I was here in school, it was kind of maybe a little stoic, maybe a little inaccessible. But when I hear from people inside the building, they have very great things to say about Coach Grant. So just tell people what that experience was like. Obviously, he recruited you. You played for him for each year. What was your relationship like with Coach Grant?
I mean, he gave me the keys, day one. So I mean, that was my guy. I mean, I really, I know we wanted to score more points, we wanted to win more games, a bunch of those things that we all kind of look back on and which was different. But like I said, for a mentor, a guy to give me an opportunity, kid from inner city Kansas City to come to Alabama and play. I mean, I can't thank him enough. So I mean, he was good for me. He was good for the team, the program. But like you saying, different guys been able to come in. Avery was able to take this program a step, and then Oates is just taking it even further, and that's just what it is. It's just like I keep saying, growth, it's transition, it's all of that. So I mean,
How,
Grant was good.
How much daydreaming time do you have thinking, man, if I would have played in this Coach Oach system, maybe would have been different? Or I mean, you were all SEC four times in a row, 4 years in a row, SEC freshman, second team, and then 2 first teams. So you had a great career. I don't want to disparage that at all, but I see maybe your play style, much to your answer earlier, and I think, man, he would have been great in this Nate Oates system for sure.
Yeah, I really love his style of play. I mean, like I said, Coach Grant and the style of play they had, I mean, it fit my game well. That's why I was able to have success. But I mean, you never know. I would like to play fast. I mean, those guys get a lot of shots up. I know there were guys on my team like Levi Randolph that love to get up, 6 to 7 threes a game. So I mean, getting those guys some more shots would definitely been cool. But like I said, I mean, I'm excited where the program's at now, but I love my situation as well.
Oh, I'm excited. I'm very
Yeah.
excited for where the program is now, and for folks who are just getting on the basketball train for this year. Alabama basketball is playing on Friday night against Ohio State at 7 o'clock on CBS Sports Network. So you'll be able to catch that as kind of your high school football's over. Watch some Alabama basketball. Get ready for your Iron Bowl weekend. Look, they're 4-0 already, played and beaten Mercer, Indiana State, Morehead State, and South Alabama as well. So Alabama basketball doing fairly well right now. Trevor, let's talk about a different teammate who has really, golly, taken his game. And when JaMychal Green was here in college, it was basically let's post him up to the basket and see him work in the post. But he has obviously he was a great player in college, awesome here at the University of Alabama. Then spent a little bit of time G Leaguing it up and kind of going wherever he needed to go. But now he's made a nice 8-10 year career in the NBA. Just tell me about JaMychal Green, playing with him at the capstone, and just kind of what you've seen out of him changing his entire kind of game to fit the modern NBA style.
Yeah, I mean that's my guy, man. I mean I talked to him, a bit, like a bunch now, and I mean just to seeing where his game is evolved. I mean he was shooting in practice, like he was a guy that we used to see just knock down shots, but never really got them opportunities during the game just because of possession standpoint and what we needed. But I mean his career, I mean I feel like Bama need to talk more about it. I'm just throw that out there, but. I mean, he's able to get 8 to 10 years in the league. Um, I mean, the guy. That's the reason why I came to Alabama. When I met with him, Drew Steele, those guys, they're my big brothers, and they look after me still today. So I love his game. I always knew he could shoot. That's the thing, but he just couldn't within our offense. So now, I mean, being able to be that many years in the league, just that speaks volumes of JaMychal Green.
So he had that those skill sets in his bag here at the capstone.
Yes, I think if you ask every teammate, and I mean, I'm saying this, I feel like a team now in Alabama, they get more possessions, and then we were just holding our head on the defensive end, and we really wasn't allowing a guy like JaMychal Green to shoot 3 pointers. A lot of bigs wasn't shooting 3 pointers back
Right.
then. So now, where the game is that you seeing him being able to have success because I mean he's always been able to stretch and shoot the basketball. So. I mean, he's gonna continue to play some more years in the league, and I mean, I'm happy for him. Uh,
I mean, when you think about the Alabama basketball legacy in the NBA, it basically goes from, now correct me if I'm an idiot, and sometimes I am, but it basically goes from Antonio McDyess to Mo Williams to JaMychal Green, and then into the Nate Oates guys, right? I mean, there's not
yeah.
a whole lot. I mean, JaMychal's been carrying the banner for the Tide in the NBA for 10 years. It's been awesome to watch.
Got a man had a great career. Had to get it. Didn't went undrafted. Went overseas a little bit. So just that whole story. I mean, and then to be an in-state kid, like I mean
Mobile,
that.
correct? Montgomery.
Yeah, definitely need his flowers, man. And like I always tell him, I was like, man, you made my job a lot easier on the court. So like all the when people were talking about me, those 2 years, I mean, he gave me that confidence. He instilled that in me. Like even when I was going out there and trying to be, to myself and be shy a little bit, he wanted me to step out and do a little bit more. So that's my guy.
Oh, you talk about wanting to be shy. Was what maybe how did he help you step out of your shell a little bit, either on the court or off the court?
Yeah, I mean, he just was just like be you. I came in. You got Tony Mitchell, you got JaMychal Green, and then you got a bunch of seniors on the team. So like I'm just trying to do, just trying to do what I need to do to stay on the court,
Right.
not really trying to be aggressive offensively, but those guys are, picking me up at times like, yeah, we need you to do this. We need you to shoot the ball. Because if you see where I was maybe shooting from freshman to the way I ended, it went up every year.
Yeah.
And that's just those guys like Jermichael, him being the best player on our team. And he's telling me, yo, we need you to shoot the ball. It's going to open up for me down low and other things for other players. So, yeah, that's my guy, man. From day one, he tell me now, he's like, man, you might be the best point guard I ever played with. And I'm like, God, and you was with Jamal Murray, you was with some other guy, like, but that's the confidence he instills in me. So that's always my guy.
Nah, he's not lying. The two of you guys together was just a joy, an absolute joy to watch. And I mean, literally, I thought every time that y'all were rolling out there, well, Bama's got a chance. They're the two together. They're going to give Alabama a great chance. So yes, absolutely. From me to you, thank you both. Y'all were an absolute joy to watch it during that time. Talk about just how important it is for a point guard to have a guy like a JaMychal Green. Maybe not him specifically, but you're thinking about this current Alabama team, Mark Shears and Aaron Estrada. Well, they've got Grant Nelson to throw the ball off to, just to have a second or someone to play off of as well.
Yeah, it's big. You're a second coach out there on the court. So like guys like Mark Sears and Estrada and Rod, like all those guys, they need that confidence from the team. But it's also important that that they lead. When you're in that position. But like I said, man, from those guys to the coaches, from day one, they instill that confidence in me. And at over time and Bama to support just playing in Coleman Coliseum. That thing always got me ready to play, and so yeah.
What do you think about the transfer portal these days? It's not really something that was very active. Well, wasn't as active as it is now. Obviously, Coach Oates has used the transfer portal very heavily to kind of rebuild each year's roster. Not really what you saw from Alabama in the 2010s. Much more kind of recruit and build a plan. How challenging do you think it might be to say, okay, we're getting a new crop of guys every year, and I'm the point guard, and I've got to like Mark Sears. He's got a hard job. He's got to get everybody on the same page. I played here last year. I know the system. I got to get everybody on the same page. What do you think the transfer portal has done to college basketball?
I just feel like, and I don't want to get too much into it, but I just feel like it's not realistic. Like when you go to the next level where all these guys are, dreaming to go play NBA overseas, wherever it may be, you just can't, when adversity hit, you just can't up and leave and go. I understand it's another side of it. When all right, this may be the best thing for me, and the situation is and it is applicable on both sides, and everybody talked it out, and it's not, oh, I'm not getting up playing time, because like back then you just had to get in the gym, you had to get better, and then like okay, if guys were just being over recruited, then all right, then yeah, that's my time to maybe exit or transfer at that point. But I like those guys. I think Coach talked about Milroe this year. I don't think he maybe was talking about the portal or whatever, but he waited his turn, and he fought through adversity, and look at him now. So I think they need to get back to that. They getting the money, but the transfer portal got to stop. Like it's just I don't know. I think it's just better when you stick with what you're in for, and just see how it turns out, and don't run from the smoke. Pretty much is what I want to say.
I like that. I like that. We're
Yeah.
talking to Trevor Releford, one of the Alabama basketball's greatest players of all time, played here from 2010 to 2014. Number one player all time in steals in the Capstone's history. All right, so you hit the money aspect. Golly, Trevor Releford, you would have made a ton of money NIL here at the Capstone. And what's the post 2020 vision? If NIL would have been around when Trevor Releford, maybe what's your thoughts on NIL, and maybe the secondary a little more fun? What might be some business or some entity that you might have wanted to be sponsored by during your time here at the Capstone?
That's a tough. That's a tough question. I heard these guys got deals with like Chucks or something like that. That would have been sweet. Just to,
Yeah.
know I can go eat at Chucks during the weekend and not break the bank for me at that time. All right, yeah, I definitely would have been. That would have been a good partnership. But there's so many things out there. With the NIL, and I'm happy for those guys, and they deserve it. But I also tell my guys too, when we always joke in the group chats, I'm like, hey man, those guys yeah, they're getting NIL. They're winning games too. So it's like a lot different to think about. But I wish I could have got a little bit of coins from the NIL for
Oh,
sure.
yeah, you should have. You should have. I'm very pro NIL. I feel like all the college athletes, people don't realize going to school is one thing, okay, and outside of school business is another thing, okay, but you've got a full-time job playing ball. It's not like, oh, I'm just going to go to the rec 3 times a week and run. It's a way different.
Yeah, so it's definitely that I definitely agree with the NIL and stuff, and I think they're trying to make some changes, but yeah, those guys deserve it.
All right, Trevor, I'm going to go inside basketball here real quick. When you were in school, I actually served tables for a little bit of time. I served you quite frequently at Bento Japanese. What do you remember about Bento Japanese, the Sunday morning roll upstairs on University Boulevard? It's not there
Man,
anymore for any of our listeners or viewers.
that's the staple. I'm so, and then you see what it's replaced with. I mean, shout out to How It Works, but I mean, come on now, bring back Bento. That was the best place on the strip. I mean, it's one of those places you never thought would go, but definitely miss it.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk about talk about a good memory and bad memory at the same time. Okay, so you get Alabama to the NCAA tournament. The end of your sophomore year. Alabama hasn't been to the tournament since 2006. So this is the end of 2011, the start of 2012. So 6 years without being in the tournament, and then you end up playing Creighton, and you get the bad call, non-call at the end of the game. First, the good part. You haven't been to the Alabama hadn't been to the tournament in 6 years. What's the moment like on Selection Sunday when you're realizing, okay, you're on the bubble, but you're probably feeling pretty good about it? I remember feeling, all right, we're going to be in, but you still never know in the bubble. And then having
Yeah.
that day, you're on the bubble and you get that news that Alabama is in the tournament. One of your big goals checked off your college career.
Yeah, I mean it was definitely exciting, but it was nervous at the same time because the previous year we were literally sitting there. We beat Georgia, I think back to back. We played them so many times in a short span, and we didn't get the nod. So like going back to that year, I think we started good and then finished bad, or however. Yeah, I think we started good and then we finished SEC kind of shaky a little bit my sophomore year. Then we were just sitting in there and we were a little bit nervous, but I mean, we got the nod to go to the tournament, but it was still, I hate that it was one game, just you come to school. I mean, I get to enjoy the tournament a lot now with those guys from the outside, but I mean, we wish we would have got there a lot more. And I mean, that one experience was cool, but yeah, there is something that we wish we would have won a lot more.
How challenging is it to? I mean, when a ref makes a foul call or doesn't make a foul call, it's subjective, and sometimes it's okay, very obvious foul, very not obvious foul, whatever. How tough is it to swallow? Okay, maybe that's a 50-50 call, and we're on one side, they're on the other. Obviously, it ended the season, not getting the foul call against Creighton at the end of the game. It ended the season. Uh, what's that like for an athlete to realize, you know what, I just had something maybe taken away from me, an opportunity maybe taken away from me. I feel one way, others feel another way. You just got to move on.
Yeah.
What's that like?
I mean, honestly, like about that game and the foul, I didn't really even notice the foul
Okay.
until after, and I started seeing pictures. Like I felt a little something on the shot, but me being a player, like I know that you're not calling that in that game, so I never even took that into account. I thought we should have just beat them, just anyways, and we came short. Did we have Tony Mitchell that game?
I think so.
I
I
know.
think
I want to say Tony Mitchell. I want to say he wasn't there.
Here we go. My stats are pulling up right here. My recap stats. I got all 4 years of you pulled up just to make sure. Let's
Yeah.
see. Michael Green, Trevor Releford, freshman Trevor Lacey with 13. Andrew Steele. It doesn't look like no, it doesn't look like Tony Mitchell was active.
Yeah, so like Tony Mitchell, so he wasn't there for that game. And I'm just, that year he's averaging like I want to say 15 something. Like it was just a bunch. Like we know we made it there, but we always talk about it. We would have had our full team. I think we could have did some stuff and that year was just so much going on that not having Tony Mitchell, a key player on our team, that hurt us, and that's why I never really. I'm like the foul. They want to see McDermott and Harrison Barnes play next round. It was scripted, like they say now. It was scripted.
What was
So,
Tony Mitchell like? Because I only knew him just as a student and a fan, but he seemed
yeah.
like pretty entertaining, pretty fun personality.
Yeah, Tony Mitchell. I mean, I think one of the most athletic guys to ever come through the university. Like, I would like, I would like to see who they put in front of him. But the things he did, like that was a guy like, and I was joking Levi because Levi wanted me to throw alley oops, and I was like, listen, I never really had to really throw a perfect alley oop for Tony. He just would come out and just out of the air, catch it, do something crazy with it. But I never, I, and but I mean, he was a talented player. You know what I'm saying? Whereas he was just tough, and I think he's still having a great career overseas and playing. So I mean, big ups to T Mitch, man. And I wish he was there, man. That would have we would have got that. I think we would have beat Creighton for sure.
Will you make any plans to be up in Nebraska this coming December and when Alabama goes up to Creighton, or are you going to skip that?
I feel like I should. I feel like I need to be there
Yeah,
just so I can just go be in peace after the game because I think my guy's gonna take care of business.
I'm definitely with you on that. And Coach O's has got to get you on the plane somehow. Get you in a suit, put your whiteboard in your hand. Oh, one of our assistants, daily assistants, or something.
Yeah.
Well, that. I know Alabama Nation would get a huge kick out of that at least. So that would be.
Mhm.
You just hit on Tony Mitchell playing overseas. Well, you played overseas, Poland, Germany, and a little bit in Israel. I mean, a lot of people think, okay, well, if you don't go to the NBA, you're busted, blah, 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 your season, your career's over. That's not the case. What's it like playing overseas? How crazy is that? Obviously, you're making money playing the game you love, so that's obviously a positive. But what's it like going to a foreign country? I imagine Polish or German aren't any of your native languages. How challenging is that?
Yeah, so actually the favorite country that I played basketball in, I was there probably 2.5, 3 years was Greece.
Okay.
So I did kind of pick up the language a little bit. I've been away for so long, so I don't, it's kind of watched a little bit, but I mean, it was good playing overseas. Like I said, I love playing in Greece. That's like a second home. It reminds me so much of Alabama, just how the people were welcoming when I got there, and like what I mean. I even went back after my second year after leaving and going to a bigger job, going back there just because I mean, when you know it's home is just home, and playing in front of those fans and Rotos was amazing, and then just experiencing all the other places were cool. It's just the time is 10 months, and the more you win, I guess the longer you stay over there. But for playoffs and things like that, and I mean, I had my daughter, she'd be 3 in January. So once she came into the world, it's time to kind of get things going back stateside here, and I enjoyed that time, and it was nice to experience that.
For the Alabama fans who are trying to keep up with you now, how do you spend your time now? I mean, I think you're still in. I thought you were still in Tuscaloosa. Please correct me if I'm wrong. How do
Yeah,
you
so
spend your time
we so we yeah, so we're actually living in Helena now.
now? Okay.
And yeah, so I'm doing commercial insurance out in Birmingham. Terrence Mead. So yeah, so I joined Terrence Mead's team out here, which is cool because he played at Bama before me and kind of helped me out, transitioning after basketball, and that, I mean, that's my big brother too. It's like a Jermichael Green, Terrence Mead, man. Those guys are big time for me. And then also real estate investing in Tuscaloosa and things like that. So I'm just transitioning right now. Yeah.
Well, if people want to get in touch with you for commercial insurance or for commercial real estate opportunities, maybe just tell them how can they do that if there's the one or two listeners out there that may want to get involved in your business.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm working with a group in Birmingham called Amwins Insurance Group, and I mean, we have offices, kind of all over. But yeah, if you have anything, related on the property side, commercial insurance, like just reach out to me, LinkedIn, and I think that things would be more appropriate. But yeah, just reach out to me.
Well, we've been talking to Trevor Releford, Alabama point guard, 2010 to 2014. You were in Coleman Coliseum on Friday for the alumni event. Tell us about the alumni event, maybe some of the guys that you got to see, any fun stories that you might able to divulge, how was the event? Hopefully the university took care of you guys.
Oh yeah, I mean, and big ups to the university, Coach Oates, I mean, Erwin Dudley, who's on staff now, who really set that up. I mean, it was big time to see those guys. Always love seeing Hollywood Robinson. I mean, that the name and everything just goes with that with him. I mean, he's just big time guy, and just seeing all the other guys and I mean, it was a good weekend. I didn't get to catch the game, but definitely the red carpet was laid out for us guys, and I think we're gonna continue doing that, for the years to come. But I mean, that's just speaking on Nate Oates again, man. He heard about us, wanting to come back and guys reaching out, and they just didn't do anything. They didn't rush it. They made sure it was the right time, where everything was set up nice. Our families got to come back. So, I mean, that's just Alabama. That's just the university, and I mean, when they always looking out for us after we leave, and if you stay in communication, man, with those guys, and they always try to take care of the alumni.
Well, they should. You guys put in a lot of time, blood, sweat, and tears here at the Capstone for the fans and people's enjoyment. So honestly, they should be doing that, reciprocating that back to you guys. Okay, I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't ask a Coleman Coliseum question. I personally enjoy it when you get 15,000 people in there. It sounds like a raucous environment, but you get a lot of people on the other side who are, oh, this place is a dump. Oh, this place is outdated. Oh, we need to downsize. Lots of opinions about Alabama's basketball arena. Why don't I ask one of the men who helped build the place? So what do you think of Coleman Coliseum, and what do you think about the future of Alabama basketball, either continuing to play in Coleman Coliseum, renovating the place, or even building something new?
Yeah, I mean, I probably don't stand on the right side of this, but I love Coleman. I mean, that's like the hardest thing to like even think about of that place, not being there. Like my daughter, her first game was um in there the other day, and I mean it's just it's a place that I hope they keep around. It's a legacy. I mean, and then what those guys are able to do in there now, they're just creating that another momentum, that another phase, and to go into another gym. I mean, we'll see. We'll see when that happens. But I mean, I'm a big fan of Coleman Coliseum. I mean, it's no different than Bryant-Denny Stadium. Like you just don't touch those. I feel like, but we'll see what happens.
I'm with you. I mean, I think no matter what they do, they need to leave it alone. And really, when you get last year when Kentucky come to town, 2 years ago when you had Baylor, goodness gracious, Baylor and Houston in the same season. When you get those full crowds, that place is rocking. That place is loud as can be. It's just, okay, you end up with those Tuesday nights, or maybe it's 9,000, 11,000, something like that. And it's still loud, but it's like a different feel. And I think I don't know, people get that in their head that
I think you gotta have more students like in the like. I would like to know the number of the students they allow like throughout the week. Because if you go to a game like Kansas, there's so many students actually going to the game that when you look like at the outside fans, there's not really. I mean, there's still a bunch. It's sold out, but the students are taking a good bit of those seats as well. Like they're behind the goals and all of that. So I mean, if you look at it, I think if you allow students to have more seats and to cover some of those, those little vacant spots during the week, because 5:30, 6:30, 6 o'clock tip, whatever it may be, that's tough, And like we're Tuscaloosa, people from Birmingham night or the fans are not coming down during the week and getting back. So I don't think it's like a support thing at all. I think it's just the way it's set up. But I don't think the new gym would fix any of that. I mean, making it small. Like I hate playing at Auburn. Like the place it sucks playing there. Like it feel like everybody's on top of you. That's why fans can touch you when they walking by. It's just yeah. I like Coleman. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, well, I enjoy it. I enjoy being there. I feel like it's a part of the Alabama basketball legacy. And the Sandersons, Coach Sanderson, whenever he gets talked about it, he says, well, if you get everybody full, if you get it, he says less about the arena and more about getting butts into the arena. And so, because look, when the tide is rising, oh my gosh, and towards the end of the year, every year, and when everybody's like, oh, it's basketball mode. you can feel Coleman is a great place to play to watch a game, in my opinion. So we'll see what they do. As long as Greg Byrne is still figuring out the finances, maybe we can get a Trevor Releford sponsorship and slap it on the side of the ring. You got $2 or $3 billion we can borrow.
Man, I wish if I did, it'll be right there. It'll be the university can have it.
Well, Trevor, this has been a huge blast for me. I appreciate you hanging out with me today and talking Alabama basketball. Last question for me, real quick, is on this year's team again. Alabama playing on Friday against Ohio State and playing a back-to-back. You're going to either play Oregon or Santa Clara on Saturday down in Destin. As you take the step from, okay, you played the first part of the season, you kind of got not really preseason out of the way, but sort of preseason out of the way. You're moved into a little step up in competition, and then you're going to go into a 3-game stretch of Purdue, Arizona, Creighton, and then the SECs. So you're kind of tiering your season a little bit. What's the key to Alabama basketball continuing its growth through the first 2 weeks of the season as competition continues to step up?
Yeah, those guys just got to stay the course, and also just the fans just got to understand it. I mean, we played 4 teams that, some people may say are not, competitive, but the Alabama schedule is going to continue to go up, and throughout the non-conference, a couple losses can't, throw you off from what the main goal is, and that's being good at the right time in March. And I think those guys literally, like, if you watch the games, like, they come out and get better every day, every game, and then these other teams will be good tests going into the SEC, which is going to be competitive. But man, those guys just stand together, man. And I'm telling you that they, from top to bottom, they look like they're together, like, and not just facade. Like, they really look like a unit. So if they can stay together like that, they would be. I think this team would do really good. I don't want to put number one overall, but I mean they'll be good when we really need them to be, and when they should be.
Well, hopefully you have lots of plans to come back and watch them in person the rest of the year. I know work is work and family is family, but maybe a couple times coming back to town to see them in person.
Oh yeah. I'm trying to get to all the games, and I wish they could. I wish they would just do something for the alumni and give us some floor tickets every once in a while. But we have to talk to Greg Byrne about that, huh?
Well, Greg, hey, we will at Greg_Byrne right here. Look, the white chairs that are left unfilled. I know a lot of times they're bought. I know that a lot of times they're paid for, but if they're left empty, give them to Trevor. I mean, goodness gracious.
Yeah, no one else for them too.
Yeah, Trevor, Tony Mitchell, if JaMychal Green comes to town, any of the more, look, if you played and sweat in the uniform, the red carpet should be rolled out for you, in my opinion. So.
Nah, they do it. They do it. Like I'm saying, we get good tickets, and we were just joking when we went back. It was like, man, we got to get on the floor one game. We haven't been able to see it from that point. We got to get on there. Hopefully this season we get there.
We'll start the campaign. Trevor, I hope you have a great day. Enjoy the weekend. Have a happy Thanksgiving. You got big Thanksgiving plans with the family?
Oh yeah. I'm gonna try to do something nice. Some good cooking. I think I'm quite the chef myself, so probably put out a nice little platter for the family.
Well, that'll be great, and we'll have to see that maybe on social media or just somewhere down the road. You can follow Trevor Releford at TRelly12 on the X/Twitter machine. Make sure you catch up with him for all your insurance needs, all your corporate insurance needs, or business real estate needs as well. And make sure you tell him how much you appreciated his time here at the Capstone. Trevor, thank you so much for joining me, man.
All right, appreciate you, Joe. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yes, sir. Happy Thanksgiving. Trevor Releford. Hopefully we can do it again soon. That's honestly behind the curtains, one of my favorite players that ever played here at the Capstone. I had the Trevor Releford half-court shot on my telephone background for many years, beating Georgia. Sorry, Mom and Dad. That was one of my phone backgrounds for many, many years. So huge honor for me to have Trevor Releford on the program today, and I really appreciate him joining us. All right, so what am I going to do the rest of the day? It's hump day. It's Wednesday. It's early in the day. It's 9 a.m. I'm about to put out this episode. I'm going to put this episode out, put it out on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon. I'm going to stick it out on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter. We will talk to Kinsey Bradenberg at 10 a.m. So 15, 20 minutes or so, I'm going to talk to Kinsey Bradenberg. I'm going to put the Kinsey segment, the cowbell crossover, on with the Mizzou mix-up with our friend Adam from yesterday. and we'll do those together. I'm going to do another episode later in the afternoon after I talk. Look, we'll have Coach Nate Oates availability at 11:45. I believe we're going to have women's basketball availability, I think, at 3 as well. We'll have Coach Nick Saban at 6 o'clock and Hey Coach after that. So it's going to be a big day on BamaCentral.com, covering Hey Coach, covering Nick Saban, covering Nate Oates. And I just had a lot of fun with Trevor Releford. I really appreciate Trevor joining me today on the program. Cannot thank him enough for his time. Really was pivotal in my Alabama basketball love when I first came to the Capstone as a freshman. So yeah, really appreciate his time. Hopefully we will get more basketball faces onto the program, whether they're former players, coaches, assistants, or analysts. Will enjoy Alabama basketball season. So I'm going to cut the episode right here. We'll round it out. I'll come back a little bit later in the day and we'll do an Auburn football kind of more centric episode, and we'll slap the two Missouri and Mississippi State segments on the back end of that. So everybody, thank you for joining me this morning. Thanks for subscribing, rating, reviewing the program. You can send it to somebody on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or on Amazon. We always appreciate anybody who's checking out this show. And then you can send me your comments, questions, queries, and complaints to Joe Gaither 6 right there on the Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, YouTube, any social media. You can find me at Joe Gaither 6. So for now, this has been the Wednesday edition of the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central and BamaCentral.com.